Hot News Talk Radio, 1240 a.m., hotnewstalkradio.com, on Twitter, Hot News Talk Radio. You can listen to us on your app. All you have to do is download the TuneIn Radio app and search Hot News Talk Radio. It's Confederate Mike sitting in for Mike Judd. Thank you so much, Mike, for allowing me to sit in on your show. Eric Judd, for allowing me to sit on your show. This may be the last time you invite me in to sit on your show. Okay, so we'll see. And I promised Eric I'm going to be a little milder than I normally am. I'm going to get my camera down here since David is like Goliath tall, and we're little munchkins compared to him. But you can watch us live at YouTube. We're streaming live at YouTube. Search Hot News Talk Radio, covering all of North Hamilton County and beyond at AM 1240. We have a lot to talk about this hour. Some issues that have made my head explode over the past few weeks since I have not been on the radio. You know, yesterday was the anniversary of the Ferguson shooting, and I was impressed that we're a CBS Radio News affiliate, that for the very first time when they spoke of the shooting, they didn't say, a white teenager shot by a black police officer. Now, some weren't so kind. Some would actually say, an unarmed black teenager gunned down by a white cop. Well, no wonder why there's racial issues. I mean, yeah, he was African-American, I assume, I guess. And he could be half European. I don't know. Barack Obama's got a white mommy. He's half European. So what's that? And the officer appeared to be, I guess he's Irish, or I don't know. But these words are inflammatory, and they're used to create dissension and discontent. And the anniversary was the shooting of Michael Brown. Oh, my God. Well, he was a thug. He was a criminal. He robbed a convenience store. He was high. He strong-armed the convenience store owner. And then what did he do? He ran after the cop. Punched the cop. Punched him. And the cop put a couple of slugs in him after he was. Listen, let me tell you something. That's the reason I'm not a cop. You run towards me, I'm putting the slugs in your head. I'm not going to wait till you punch me. So get over it, Ferguson, you bunch of losers. And I blame this squarely on the Democrats. Squarely on the Democrats. It's your fault that this stuff happens. Squarely on the Democrats with the rioting in Baltimore. Why? Because you're criminals. That's why. Because you steal everybody's money and redistribute wealth and just give it away. And because of that, the inner city is stuck with 60 to 80%, primarily of black children, without a daddy. They have no one to grab the back of their head and say, you're doing. Mommy's not going to do it. Mommies typically don't do it. Dads are the disciplinarian. So they're growing up not knowing what's right or wrong, good or bad. All they know is they're not educated in the inner city, and that's sometimes what you have to do to survive. Being from Philadelphia, we had our own little gangs when I was younger in Philly, because that's how you survived. If you went from where we were to the other side of town, you could be beat up. You could be stabbed. We're going to eliminate the crime problem in Chattanooga, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, government, you're all full of crap. You know that? You're all full of it. You're not going to eliminate anything. You're a bunch of fat cat bureaucrats that can do nothing but cause problems. Stop trying to socially engineer and redistribute wealth. It is your fault that that black teenager was shot. It was your fault that the riots occurred in Baltimore. It's your fault. The blood is on your hands. And listen, it's no different here in Chattanooga with the recent shooting of 5 exceptional servicemen by a Muslim extremist radical terrorist. Now, there's not many people that have the courage to say that, but quite frankly, I don't care, because that's what he is. Every single bombing, every single killing of Americans relating to political discourse in the Middle East and this country is by radical Muslim terrorists. Everyone. Not little white or black little old ladies going through the airport. And what does Janet Napolitano do when she's the head of the Homeland Security? Points fingers at patriots and constitutionalists and sovereign citizens. Oh, they're going to get us. Because if you love individualism in the South and freedom, you're the enemy of the federal government. Not those people. That's not Barack Obama's enemy. If it were Barack Obama's enemy and the Democrats' enemy and Barack Obama's administration's enemy, they wouldn't cut a deal with Iran, who's going to eventually get a nuclear weapon that can destroy Israel, wipe it off the face of the earth. And with an ICBM, the United States. You have elected a moron if you elected this guy. Now, we're probably going to suffer repercussions for this. I always do. But quite frankly, it's my job to tell you the truth. And the truth is Israel right now should take out those nuclear facilities. If Barack Obama had any balls, he would take out those nuclear facilities right now. He would take them out. He would tell the Israelis, you have a green light, use those bunker buster bombs and take out those nuclear facilities before Iran, the Muslims who hate Christians and Jews and Americans, have the capability of developing a nuclear weapon. So I can only assume one of two things. That maybe Barack Obama and his Democrat minions are part of a sleeper cell that hate this constitutional republic, that ultimately secretly want to see it punished, and Israel punished with a nuclear attack. Oh yeah, we'll kill some high-level guys with drones once in a while that create the illusion that we're for this republic and Christianity and so on and so forth. But really, are you? With this deal, you're just giving Iran a blank check. Well, this is the best we can do. We can inspect. We can. No, you can't. No, you can't. And not only that, no other nation should ever have the ability to develop nuclear weapons. And the liberal will go, well, why? Moral equivalency? You know, America has it and has used it. Shouldn't other countries? But no. Why? Because we're bigger. That's why. We're the last real superpower. We have big carriers. We have big planes. We have big bombs. So we say no. There is no moral equivalency. No other nation will develop a nuclear weapon. If you attempt to do it, we will immediately respond in kind. Barack Obama, you do it to patriots. Your IRS did it with Janice Lerner. What's the first thing you did when people came after you, you big fat jackass? What did you do? You attacked them. You arrested them. You defunded them, and then you covered up for Lois Lerner. So don't tell me you can't be a tyrant when you want to be, but you're only a tyrant against your own people, not against the real enemy. Israel should bomb Iran now and take out those nuclear facilities. That's what should be done. And no one on the radio has the courage to do that, especially that other loser talk station in Chattanooga, which why anybody listens to it is beyond me. Oh, kumbaya, let's hold hands. You're a coward. Take out those nuclear facilities today. And if you're watching us on YouTube, we're really going to piss everybody off because I'm flying the Confederate flag. How about that? Because you're not going to tell me what I can speak and cannot speak about or express myself. I am flying the battle flag of the South. How's that? And you can kiss my big, fat, white Yankee ass if you don't like it. Okay? It's right there behind me. The battle flag of the South, because the war to prevent Southern independence wasn't about slavery. Anyone that knows history knows that it was about Southern independence, about not wanting the North to push their Northern poison in their banking system on the South and the jealousy of the South not giving tithing to the North. Slavery was on its way out already. It had nothing to do with that. Abraham Lincoln didn't like blacks. Read history. Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger, doesn't like blacks. She hates them. She hates Mexicans. She wanted to kill them. Yet it seems like some in the so-called black community and the liberals rally around killing unborn children when your leader hates minorities. Because you know what? Ultimately, you do too. You're a bunch of phony liars. Oh, we want to help the minorities. We want to help. No, you don't. You're a bunch of phony liars. You want them dead. Don't you Democrats? And my question is, listen, can you answer this for me? 800-8949, 423-800-8949. Can you be a Democrat and a Christian? I don't think so. I don't think anybody can be a Democrat and a Christian. That's just my opinion. Now, I don't particularly like Republicans. I'm not a Republican. They're a bunch of milquetoast liberals. But at least they don't have in their platform that it's okay to slaughter an unborn child. So I tolerate Republicans and despise you liberals that think it's okay to murder unborn children. And tell me I can't fly any flag that I want. I dare you. Or have my gun to defend myself. I think we have one right here. Here you go. So any Muslim comes in this studio, radical Muslim, to kill us, we can shoot back. Okay? Unfortunately, they couldn't shoot back because, believe it or not, some of our military guys aren't allowed to have guns. How stupid is that? The Navy is in the Constitution. It is a right. You have a right to defend yourself. You cannot give away your rights. You cannot sign them away. They come from God. You don't like it, complain to God. And guess what? I don't want to hear the Uniform Code of Military Justice, Department of Injustice. You can't tell any soldier he can't carry a gun. And every single gun law that's ever been passed since 1787 is illegal and unconstitutional. And I challenge any lawyer, any judge, any professor to come on this radio station and challenge me on that. And I'm going to make you cry like a little baby as you whine leaving the radio station saying, I can't believe he said that. Because you're all wrong. The Second Amendment is not qualified. You have a right to keep and bear arms unqualified because that's what the Second Amendment says. That's what the law says. So if you're a legislator or you're a cop or you're a sheriff and you imprison anyone for exercising a constitutional right, you need to be tried for sedition and treason and high crimes and misdemeanors against the people of these United States of America. That's what needs to happen to you. We defend ourselves here against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And our military can't. We call upon these people to go overseas, to fight and die for whatever cause. They're not even questioning it. But they want to support their country. And they come back to recruit people, and it's like shooting goldfish in a barrel where some lunatic sleeper cell Muslim terrorist can come over and just shoot them because they're unarmed. Where are our heads? Does every one of you have your head stuffed up your ass? Because that's what it sounds like. Wake up, have an opinion, speak out, and fly that flag, you cowards. And if a Fed walks in and tells you you can't fly, you say, get out of here, I'm calling the sheriff to arrest you. How about that? Oh, I can't. I'm afraid of losing my stuff. They're going to take my stuff. They'll take my car. They'll take my house. They'll take my bank account. They might throw me in jail. When did we become a nation of cowards? That's what I want to know. When did we become a nation of cowards and we let a bunch of federal, state, and local weenie bureaucrats tell us what to do? Patrick Henry said, give me liberty or give me death. Do you want to be bound by the chains of slavery through threats and intimidation? Give me liberty or give me death. He was making that speech to a body of politicians that were deciding on whether or not they should sign the Declaration of Independence. See, you were told that after the Declaration of Independence was signed unanimously, that everyone went out and they got their guns and they started killing all these bad guys in red, known as the British. That's not the way it happened. The war was already going on. The Indians were slaughtering the inhabitants of Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. No one was protecting the British. They were actually paying the Indians to do it. In Boston, the British were confiscating the guns of the inhabitants of Boston, taxing them to death without representation. So we were already fighting. There was a revolution. And trust me, if the founders didn't sign that declaration, they would have been thrown out and there would have been a revolution against them. So Patrick Henry has this plea, this speech to listen. You need to help these guys. I can hear the sound of arms. I can hear the metal from here. Are you going to be for them or against them? And that's when he said, give me liberty or give me death. He said, the war's already taken place. You just got to be behind these guys. We're going to be an independent, free nation. And back then, there were real men and real women that understood what liberty was. Today, I'm embarrassed for my country. I'm embarrassed because you won't speak out, because you're mute, because you're afraid to lose your stuff or go to jail. And you know what? You're only causing your children to have a lifetime of servitude by doing that. That's what you're doing. Causing your children to have a lifetime of servitude to the feds, the local and state government by not speaking out on what's right, what's wrong, and our basic Judeo-Christian principles. We have Chrissy with me from Chattanoogians for Justice. When we come back, we're going to be talking about this brand new organization in Chattanooga, how and why it was formed, how you could join, and why it's so important to take a stand here in our local Chattanooga area, especially after the radical Muslim extremist attacks against our soldiers. AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio, hotnewstalkradio.com. On Twitter, search Hot News Talk Radio. I'm Confederate Mike. Back after these.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Here you are, working to keep your customers happy and to manage your cash flow. IRS problems are the last thing you need, but here they are, flapping about you like vultures. Get help from Eric Pelton and his team of accountants at E.J. Pelton Company. Audits, letters, proposed return changes, 1099s, penalty threats. Pelton Tax Resolution Services brings peace of mind and helps you keep more of what you've earned. EJPelton.com. Offices on Brainerd Road and in Saudi Daisy, just north of the Bilo. That's EJ Pelton. Call 622-3156. Think ahead, 622-3156.
When my brother and I opened the first Jets Pizza, we believed if we made the best pizza, customers would find us. So we made fresh dough each day, used fresh toppings, and premium mozzarella cheese. 300-plus stores later, we still do.
Try Jet's famous 8-corner pizza with premium mozzarella cheese and one topping, now just $11.99 for a limited time only. Jet's Pizza, the best pizza in town. 3600 Hickson Pike.
Life is short. Eat better pizza.
Let's get Jets.
Arnie Guest Goldsmith, Chattanooga's gold standard in quality, selection, and beautifully handcrafted jewelry. Arnie Guest Goldsmith has 7 jewelers on site and ready to assist you in the design of your one-of-a-kind diamond piece. Arnie Guest Goldsmith, Chattanooga's gold standard in quality, selection, and beautifully handcrafted jewelry. Arnie Guest Goldsmith has 7 jewelers on site and ready to assist you in the design of your one-of-a-kind diamond piece to the perfect, affordable, handcrafted gem. From just $20 silver earrings to your dream elegant work of art to adorn your finger, neck, and wrist, impressing your friends and family, Arnie Guest Goldsmith will ensure that your budget is met. Planning the perfect wedding or a special event? Then let Arnie Guest Goldsmith assist you in choosing or designing the keepsake that will last you a lifetime. All of Arnie Guest Goldsmith repairs and crafting are done in-house, so you can be rest assured that it will meet or exceed your expectations. For over 30 years, Arnie Guest Goldsmith has served Chattanooga with the finest jewelry and services, meeting only the highest quality and standards. So the next time you think of jewelry, custom design, remounting, appraisals, or repairs, remember Arnie Guest Goldsmith. And please visit Arnie Guest Goldsmith at 5090 Adams Road, Hickson. That's 5090 Adams Road, Hickson. Call 875-2390. That's 875-2390. Or go to jewelryfromscratch.com. That's all one word, jewelryfromscratch.com. Jewelryfromscratch.com. Arnie Guest Goldsmith of Chattanooga.
Are you tired of working in corporate America, or have you recently lost your job and would like to consider owning your own business? If you are, please call me, as I can help you look at franchises or business opportunities that fit you, the economy that we're in, and the type of businesses that are right in the greater Chattanooga area. After I help my clients find the right opportunity, I also help them find the best way to finance the business, including paying yourself through the startup phase. If you would like to learn more about opportunities that may be right for you, please call me for a free assessment. My name is Bruce Krebs at the Entrepreneur Source. Phone number is 423-875-5621.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
I am sitting in for Eric Judd. Thank you, Eric, for letting me sit in for your light hour on Monday. Normally, this is a lot lighter. Eric will be back tomorrow at 11 o'clock here at Hot News Talk Radio. AM 1240 on the web, hotnewstalkradio.com. Noon today. You're going to love this show. It's called Digital Drive with Russell at noon today. Russell is also our news director, and he does Hot News Talk Radio live at 5 to 6, local, regional, national, and international news. It's a great show here at Hot News Talk Radio. So nice to have you along. And Russell was telling me that I was holding the gun incorrectly. So What, did you want me to hold it this way, Russell? Is that the way you wanted me to hold it, like that? Is that it? Okay. And by the way, we're taking this gun from Russell. Okay. He's no longer, since he complained about me showing it on the air. Oh, you can't show the gun on the air. We're giving him a flintlock. That's the one he's. So Russell's now banned from using that gun. He'll be using the flintlock from now on. So there you go. New organization in Chattanooga is called Chat for Justice, Chattanoogians for Justice. And our guest is Chrissy. Chrissy, what prompted you to start this organization?
Well, when I heard on the news that Commander Timothy White could possibly be facing charges for illegally shooting at our terrorists, I decided it was time for Chattanoogians to take a stand and stand behind our military.
Yeah, it's amazing. People will say, well, there needed to be an investigation, a thorough investigation. And then there was these rumors out that he could possibly be charged on the Military Code of Justice, whereby it appears that it's not legal, according to them, for a commander or an individual part of that military unit to carry their personal sidearm at the job, basically.
Right.
So it appears, based on all the evidence, he did have his own personal weapon. He is the commander, which means he's in charge. They're his people he's in charge of. Mm-hmm. And he returned fire. Now, we're not sure whether or not he was the one that fired the fatal shot, whether he hit the Muslim extremist terrorist. But we do know, based on the evidence, that he did have his personal firearm and that he did return fire. So it incensed you that an individual from our military protecting his people would possibly be charged with a crime.
Yes, and I think that's pretty sad that he was the hero involved in taking down our terrorist, and yet he could be facing charges. And I just thought that was not right, that our military should be able to be armed, for incidents like this.
Yeah, and they were talking about, well, this is just an inquisition. It would be a court-martial. It's not really a criminal charge. But knowing this Obama administration, it wouldn't be beyond them to send in their pit bulls of the Department of Justice and find something to charge this guy with. It appears, and I didn't see Barack Obama here in Chattanooga. I know he appeared when there was this shooting out in the Carolinas, and he appeared with Mandela, this communist, when he croaked. But we lose 5 servicemen, and you know what? You will be known by your works. He didn't show up. 5 of your commander-in-chief, 5 of your people were shot here. And listen, when I talk about Barack Obama, I'm not just talking about the man. I'm talking about the entire administration and everyone that supports him. And you, if you voted for him, that's what I'm talking about. Your commander-in-chief didn't show up when 5 of his men were shot. And whether you have an excuse of, well, we shouldn't be all over the world, and with drone strikes and blah, 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 blah. Who cares? We are. We're Americans. We're not Canadians. We're not Mexicans. We're not Italians. We're not Germans. We're Americans. And if you don't believe in protecting the borders of this country and you're not an American, get out. Leave. People have often said to me, well, if you don't like it, leave it. I'm not going anywhere. It's my home. I'm going to change it. I'm not leaving. You leave. And things have got to make sense. Since when can you be trained in firearms, be expected to take those firearms overseas, kill the bad guys, come back, and then be disarmed? And Chrissy, this is under the guise of, well, there are local laws that. Listen, I thought every lawyer always has told me that federal law supersedes local law, especially when it comes to individual rights, doesn't it? Well, no, there's statutes and blah, blah, blah. You're all a bunch of big phony liars that eat out of the same slop bin. The Second Amendment guarantees you your right to bear arms, and when you join the military, you don't give up that right. You can carry your sidearm to protect yourself, your family, your community, your nation, and your fellow soldiers. You get it? And that didn't come from the government. That came from God enumerated into a constitution that these people swear an oath to obey. That's the problem. I swear to obey the Constitution, all enemies, foreign and domestic. The next time one of these guys come to you, ask them something about the Constitution. See if they can answer it. Oh, I don't know. I'll have to look into it. I didn't read the whole thing. So you swore an oath to something you don't know, right? How can you defend something you don't even know what's in it? How can you defend it? Well, I just do my job. I'm told what to do. There has to be an investigation. The soldier shouldn't have had his firearm. And that's what you guys are about. You saw an injustice.
Yes.
And it was your intent to do what?
Just we need to stand together, and he doesn't need to be charged with a crime that, in my eyes, he didn't commit any crime.
Well,
he was defending our country and trying to, take down the terrorists.
Well, on top of that, there was supposed to be a rally August 22nd at noon in front of the federal building to show everyone's support of this. I think maybe you guys had something to do with, and this may sound crazy, but, I think it would have been the start of a big movement had they decided not press charges, but seek some sort of incrimination against this Navy man.
I would like to know that we had something to do with it. I just created the page, and actually we're having it's called Chattanooga Strong. There is a parade at Hamilton Place this Sunday on the 16th at 6:30, and we are honoring the military and the fallen heroes. And it will be at the food court. I believe it's sponsored by Salvation Army. So if everybody wants to come out, we will be out there.
Right.
Just so your support for the military.
Where could we find Chattanoogians for Justice?
You can find it on Facebook. The Facebook page is Chattanoogians for Justice, and also on Twitter.
So where do we find you on Twitter? Is it Chat for Justice, Chattanoogians
It's
for Justice?
The number 4 Justice.
And what about on Wastebook?
And on Facebook, it's Chattanoogians for Justice.
I hate Facebook. I you know what? You're lucky I don't have a lot of time, Facebook, because I create something to beat your pants. Because, they're a bunch of phonies. Facebook took all of my photos off of my posting for the radio station and myself. And not all of them, but most of them, and deleted most of what I say.
Yeah, it did.
And I heard people go, well, that's because you're inflammatory in your speech. Wait a second. Inflammatory. So if I call it murdering unborn children, that's inflammatory when it's the truth, as opposed to saying, well, she's having a saline abortion. So it's not that it's inflammatory. It's that people don't want to hear the truth. They want words sugar-coated. That's what Wastebook wants. But I see liberals and commies on Facebook spewing their poison. I don't see their photos being pulled.
Right.
But with us, so we're not on Facebook anymore, right? Deactivated the account. And we're totally on Twitter now because Twitter has never, ever censored anything we've ever done. If you go to Hot News Talk Radio on Twitter, you search Hot News Talk Radio on Twitter, you'll see every single post, over 3,500, not one ever censored by Twitter. But Wastebook censors. It's a waste of time unless you want to post your breakfast to your grandma. Hey, Grandma, look at the scrambled eggs I made. Oh, how many? Oh, look at the kids. Look at them swimming. Oh, I just had a bowel movement. Oh, there you go. That, to me, that's what Wastebook is good for. I don't know how people say, businesses, well, I use it to, to promote my business. It's social media and blah, blah, blah. You're promoting a liberal organization. Here we go again, conservatives. You want to know why we're in the mess we're in? I'm going to blame all the Christian churches. I'm going to blame the conservatives, and especially you gun owner businesses. Anyone that sells a gun. Because your mouth talks, but you don't put your hand in your pocket. Oh, yeah, I'm for the NRA and the right to bear arms. And, well, why don't you support it with some, oh, I can't do that. You can't let them know that I support it, because we're under the jurisdiction of Federal Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, ATF, America's terrorist forces. We don't want them in there looking at all of our records. So, but they're being intimidated by bureaucrats. And this is what happened in the former Soviet Union. Communism is nothing but a bunch of big bureaucracy. And I've spoken to people that lived under the former Soviet Union, where people were spied on. If you talked against the government, you got fired. You didn't get good jobs. They look into your books and records. And the people become cowards like the people in America are becoming because they're afraid of bureaucrats. Big, fat, stupid, worthless bureaucrats that aren't smart enough to get a job in the real market, in the free enterprise system. That's who you're afraid of? Well, yeah, because they hire people that have guns. Okay. Now what? You got a gun? Well, yeah. Okay. So now what? Well, I just don't need the trouble. I don't have the time. No, you're afraid to lose your stuff. You're afraid to go to jail because of something you may say or have said, and you don't want to lose your stuff. That's the bottom line, is you're not willing to sacrifice for liberty. you're willing to accept temporary security. And those who are willing to accept temporary security for liberty deserve neither liberty nor security. I think Edwin Burke said that. Chattanoogians for Justice aren't like that. You guys are taking a stand. I was impressed at the fact that you were taking a stand against an administration right now that could arrest me and close me down and trump up charges. I mean, you're talking about these people are tyrants. I mean, they can come and take you at 3 o'clock in the morning, throw you in a black truck, label you a terrorist, and no one ever hear from you or see you again. And you guys have enough courage to do this, to stand up against this Marxist administration and say, we've had enough. We're going to stand for this commander.
After this terrorist attack, it really woke my eyes up and realized that we all need to come together and take a stand for what's right. And also the organization, if you have any concerns or issues, you just message me on Facebook or Twitter. We'd be glad to take any concerns you have and try to address the issues.
Chattanoogians for Justice is Chrissy, the executive director of Chattanoogians for Justice and founder. So if you have an issue with anything going on in Chattanooga, if the police are doing something wrong or something right, I'm not one of these guys that go, oh, the police beat them up, they're wrong. In a lot of cases, they deserve it. They're resisting arrest, so they beat them over the head a couple of times to get them, to put their hands behind their back. They don't know if they're hiding a gun. Or, we only see the last part of the video where the cop smacks someone in the head or something, but we don't see them spitting at the cop, kicking them, punching them, and doing other things. We don't see that. We see the last part of the video. So the police aren't always wrong, which means at times Chattanoogians for Justice, as you told me, may defend a police officer, correct?
Correct. That's what we're here for.
So if you see any injustice, doesn't matter if it's on the part of an individual or the government, you guys are going to take action.
Yes, we will.
Okay. So if I'm interested in sharing something with you, I see a problem in the city with an individual, with the state, with the police, with whomever. Where do I go from here? How do I contact you?
You can go to the Chattanoogians for Justice Facebook page. You can post it on the page. You can private message, the same as Twitter, or you can give us a call at 423-355-0459.
And you've only been, I think, active, a week now?
About a week and a half.
And you already have hundreds of followers on Twitter.
I have over 200 followers on Twitter, and I started that account 2 days ago.
2 days. In 2 days?
Yes.
So, I mean, it's really starting to catch, and you really with no publicity, correct? This is
correct.
The first time you've been on the radio.
Right.
Right. But you're on the most important radio station in Chattanooga anyway. So, well, yeah. I mean, listen, we're the only station that covered the full shootings in Chattanooga. And everyone else was playing Mariah Carey, or what is it, Backstreet Boys. I've got a vision of love.
Car 25, we're blocking off Amicala Highway. There's been a shoot.
I had a vision of love all around the world, trying to find my baby. You got the best of.
We're blocking off a 153, a suspected terrorist at 153.
Going to be sunny today in Chattanooga with a high of 90 and a low tonight of 60.
Suspected terrorist is driving a Mustang.
And we're out there covering this with 5 reporters on the scene. The only radio station in Chattanooga, the most important radio station in Chattanooga, that will give you the news you're on. So you came to the best first medium first.
Well, thank you for having me.
And one more time, your website address, Twitter, and how to get you on Wastebook.
Okay, Facebook is Chattanoogians for Justice. Just like the page, join, put any concerns you have on the page or private message me. You can give us a call. Twitter is chat4justice, and you can email us at chatforjustice@gmail.com. Sorry.
And this event coming up, you were talking about that you guys will be there next Sunday. What is that?
It is August the 16th at 6:30 on a Sunday. It's right around the food court. I believe Salvation Army is promoting this, and it's just to honor the fallen heroes in our military. And there will be a parade, and I believe there's also going to be donation boxes set up within the mall that you can donate items. So if you will, just come out and join and take part in the parade.
Thank you, Chrissy. That's Chrissy, founder and executive director of Chattanoogians for Justice. Now, if you didn't have the opportunity to hear all of the interview, you can go to YouTube. We stream live every day. Go to YouTube and then search Hot News Talk Radio, and you can see the entire interview and Chrissy's beautiful face.
Thank you.
You can also download the app called TuneIn Radio and then search Hot News Talk Radio. Check us out on your smart device. If you're planning on going to work, getting there a little late, go to hotnewstalkradio.com. We stream live instantly. Just minimize it, and you can go about your work. Once again, thank you, Chrissy.
Thank you very much for having me.
Founder and Executive Director, Chattanoogians for Justice. AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio, back after these.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
If you have the DTs, shit, because your phone is on the fritz, you have nomophobia. You need help. Your telecom doctor is in. Cell Surgeon at Northgate Mall. Cell Surgeon yanks open the ribcage of your phone, pries out the dead heart, and puts in the beating life that you lead on your cell phone. Broken screen, phone not charging, water damage, battery given out? Cell Surgeon in Northgate Mall next to Old Chicago Pizza. Check us out on Facebook. Open Sunday. Cell Surgeon. We bring your phone back to life. Mention Hot News Talk Radio and get 10% off.
Sky Aerial Services uses advanced drone technology to give you a better perspective and depth of your property and project. We offer aerial photography and video for your business, farm, home, or advertising campaigns, as well as editing services to complete the experience. Call us at 423-521-0284 and see how we can help you tell your story about your business, property, or project. We work with real estate professionals, both commercial and residential, developers, engineer inspectors, surveyors, ad agencies, auto and boat dealers, mapping services, insurance inspectors, corporate marketing, charity events, weddings, and photographers. Our consultation is free. Call 423-521-0284. That's 423-521-0284, or visit our website, skyaerialservices.com. Sky Aerial Services. The sky is our limit.
We've got a table here at Delia's in Saudi Daisy, ready to delight in a plate of authentic Mexican food. Delia's spreads a rich selection: loaded nachos, crazy chicken, homemade tamales, maybe the enchiladas with beef, chicken, pork, quesadillas. Every dish beautifully pictured on the menu to help us decide. Join us for lunch or dinner. We're at Delia's in Saudi Daisy on Dayton Pike near the Thrasher Light. Here's dinner. Delia's uses the freshest ingredients, cooked to perfection. Nachos, homemade. Delia's open every day except the Lord's Day. For lunch and dinner, treat yourself to Delia's genuine Mexican food. In Saudi, call 521-7145. That's 521-7145.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240. When my brother and I opened our first Jets Pizza, we believe if we made the best pizza, customers would find us. So we made fresh dough each day, used fresh toppings, and premium mozzarella cheese. 300 plus stores later, we still do.
Try Jet's famous 8-corner pizza with premium mozzarella cheese and one topping, now just $11.99 for a limited time only. Jet's Pizza, the best pizza in town. 3600 Hickson Pike.
Life is short. Eat better pizza.
Let's get Jets.
Arnie Guest Goldsmith, Chattanooga's gold standard in quality, selection, and beautifully handcrafted jewelry. Arnie Guest Goldsmith has 7 jewelers on site and ready to assist you in the design of your one-of-a-kind diamond piece. Arnie Guest Goldsmith, Chattanooga's gold standard in quality, selection, and beautifully handcrafted jewelry. Arnie Guest Goldsmith has 7 jewelers on site and ready to assist you in the design of your one-of-a-kind diamond piece to the perfect, affordable, handcrafted gem. From just $20 silver earrings to your dream elegant work of art to adorn your finger, neck, and wrist, impressing your friends and family, Arnie Guest Goldsmith will ensure that your budget is met. Planning the perfect wedding or a special event? Then let Arnie Guest Goldsmith assist you in choosing or designing the keepsake that will last you a lifetime. All of Arnie Guest Goldsmith repairs and crafting are done in-house, so you can be rest assured that it will meet or exceed your expectations. For over 30 years, Arnie Guest Goldsmith has served Chattanooga with the finest jewelry and services, meeting only the highest quality and standards. So the next time you think of jewelry, custom design, remounting, appraisals, or repairs, remember Arnie Guest Goldsmith. And please visit Arnie Guest Goldsmith at 5090 Adams Road, Hickson. That's 5090 Adams Road, Hickson. Call 875-2390. That's 875-2390. Or go to jewelryfromscratch.com. That's all one word, jewelryfromscratch.com. Jewelryfromscratch.com. Arnie Guest Goldsmith of Chattanooga.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Yeah, baby, we'll give you Chattanooga in the world. I mean, the whole wide world. We got the whole world in our hands. We're going to give you Hickson, Salty Daisy. We're going to give you Hamilton County. We're giving you everything, man. Everything you ever wanted is right here. And I mean everything. We even got the Confederate flag in the back. Tell me I can't fly a Confederate. Oh, you tell me I can't do it, I'll do it. Can't fly the Confederate flag. I even have Keon Rose here, and he's going to be talking about why the Confederate flag should be flown. His view, I'm kidding.
Is that what I'm talking about? Is that
No, I'm joking. I'm just setting you up. How you doing, Keon?
I'm doing pretty good.
And you, what are you pointing to? Like that's mic 2? That's not how we have it set up.
Okay.
Yeah, mic 1 is mic 1 and mic 2.
All right.
So you do know a little bit about radio.
Just a little bit.
Keon is a student at Chat State.
I am.
And you're majoring in?
Communications.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a military brat. My dad moved around all over the country, so I don't sound like I'm from anywhere in particular.
Did he fight for the North or South?
The U.S.
Okay. Then he fought for the North. Just checking.
Yeah. I've been a huge fan of radio my entire life, especially talk radio. That's pretty much all I listen to all day long. And
sports talk radio?
Sports talk radio mostly, but I'll tune into WGOW. I'll listen to Hot News Talk Radio as well, and I'll bounce around.
This is great because you're probably going to become part of the team, especially since we don't know anything about sports here.
I'm excited about that.
I mean, literally, like David, Russell, myself. I mean, I thought I was homosexual at one time because I just didn't know any. So tell me about how they score touchdowns. 3 strikes and you're out. I was checking my homo card. Really, I was.
Wow.
Because I don't know anything about sports.
Which, unfortunately, that doesn't. It fits in that classic view of like manliness. Like men like sports.
It is. Men like sports.
You don't have to.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Whew, that makes me feel better.
I'm sure.
Woo! All right. Made me feel much better, Keon. Thanks.
But I'm a huge sports fan, and that's pretty much my sphere of things that I know.
Well,
most.
What I find interesting is that people can actually, and I'm still amazed at this. Thanks for my headphones here. People can actually sit in front of a TV set and watch somebody with a piece of wood in their hand hit this little ball and then run around bases, and millions of people will watch it. I'm amazed at that. That like amazes me.
But they're so good at it, though.
But a friend of mine comes down from Philly, and he's sitting watching this, and I'm like, really? Really? And he goes, you just spent a half hour watching airplanes take off and land. And I'm like, okay, I get it now. Because I'm into aviation. So literally I was watching 30 minutes of airplanes just taking off and landing. But I got it then, that to each his own.
If you enjoy something and understand how it works, you are actually okay with watching this completely mundane thing happen over and over and over again. Like if you take a look at sports culture just from the outside, it is completely ridiculous, which is why it's fun. You're watching a guy with a piece of wood in his hand. You're rooting for laundry, for instance. Like when you root for the Tennessee Volunteers and you root for the orange and the white, you're rooting for people who don't even live in Tennessee. Like they represent Tennessee by choice only.
Take me out to the ball game. Root for the home. I know that.
It's a construct of the mind in a lot of ways, which is what makes it completely interesting to me.
But Philadelphians are totally different when it comes to sports. Like they hate their teams. They're crazy. You're right. They threw Santa off, I think, the third level balcony one time.
Yeah, and they booed him.
Booed
Santa Claus on Christmas.
Philadelphians are
Philly fans
nuts when it comes to sports.
So like one of the best players in Philadelphia Eagles history, Donovan McNabb, he got drafted by them, and the day he got drafted, they booed him. Like that's Philadelphia.
That's Philly, man.
Their relationship with their teams is a love-hate relationship in which they love to hate them and hate to love them.
Yeah. Where are you from? Originally.
I
don't know.
I really can't say, but I guess my parents were both born in Guyana in South America, and I was born there too. And they came over to America and brought me with them. And we spent my early childhood in Maryland, Washington, D.C. area. So I guess
So you could never be president?
I could never be president, no.
That's a shame.
It is a shame.
That's a darn shame.
My teachers would tell me that when I was in elementary school. You could be anything you want, even president of the U.S.
No, I can't.
Actually, not me. By law, I was not born here.
But you have your accent is interesting because it's so neutral. And normally I can pick out where you spent most of your time, and it's a very neutral, good radio accent because there is none there.
There isn't, and I feel like it's just because I've been in so many places roughly equally. I haven't been in a place majority. I lived in Texas, Maryland, Florida, New York. So I've been in a mash of places, and I don't have an accent really.
How much do you know about sports?
A lot. I am a nerd. That is, honestly, that's what I like. I read sports news most of the day. I do sports research for this company called V-Sporto. That's my life.
And for you listening, this is a job interview on the air, which is kind of cool. You get to see the process because he wants to be on the radio, commercial radio. You're in college radio now. I was on Drexel University's radio in Philadelphia.
Oh.
I was also on WPWT, Philadelphia Wireless Technical Institute. Actually, back in the 70s, they actually shared frequencies at 92.7.
Oh.
Philadelphia Wireless Technical Institute would come on at 3, and the Drexel University would go off the air at 3. So I was on the air from 1 to 5.
That is a long shift.
It's a long shift. Well, I did talk radio 5 hours a day, 5 days a week for years.
Well, I mean, that explains
years
how you got good at it.
Well, I don't know that I'm good at it,
put
but
the time in.
Yeah,
you definitely put the time in.
But what was so cool, you're at a stage of radio where it's really fun at this stage. I would go on the air at 1 till 3 at Drexel, and then they would put in a long song, and I would drive to Center City, Philly, 15th and Pine, and go on the air at WPWT 3 to 5, which was really cool.
Right.
So they don't share frequencies anymore. PWT's off, and now Drexel just has their own little thing going. But commercial radio and college radio is so different. Even the equipment, because in college radio you have all new stuff, right?
Right.
You go to a commercial station, it's like, what is all this old stuff? You know why? Because we gotta buy it.
You gotta buy it. The government gets to pay for all the new stuff.
Yeah.
So you end up taking a step backwards, even though your career is moving forward.
It's weird.
Yeah.
But technologically, we are ahead of, I think, every radio station in Chattanooga. As you can see, they were totally automated.
Yes, which I've been to a couple of stations here, and you're fortunate.
Yeah, we're totally automated with talk, which is a difficult thing to do. We've got, I think, 3 or 4 computers at the transmitter sites, 4 receivers at the transmitter sites, and all these computers here. So really all the host has to do is push the mic on and off. The computers do it all. After I'm done programming it, they do it all.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, technologically we're on top, but new equipment's coming out every year and it's very, very expensive. And commercial operators, for the most part, are at the mercy of the economy. It's, everybody's looking to save a buck. So when you're talking to a client about going on the air, they say, well, there's 20 other radio stations, 25 other stations. There's the internet, there's Facebook, there's Google, there's newspaper. Why should I go on with you? And they make a good point.
They do make a good point. I think with talk radio, you have that added benefit of, I want to listen to this person. I'll sit through ads to hear that person come back.
Best football player ever.
Best football player ever.
All around.
I'm going to go with Joe Montana.
Best baseball player ever. Are you going to say Robinson? Because he was.
Am I going to?
And I don't know that much about baseball, but what I do know, either Robinson or Babe Ruth.
I'm going to go with the Bambino.
Really?
Yes. Only because of just his production during the time that he played was unreal.
And he was a drunk.
He was a drunk. He would smoke. He was chewing tobacco, like things that you couldn't do today. He wasn't a high performance athlete, but he was just so far ahead of his time, like athletically. It didn't make any sense.
You know what's so weird about that? I had one of my morning guys was a drunk. And I found out by accident. I'd just taken over as a programming position years ago. And the morning guy was really good. And then his game was off. So I went in and said, your game's been off the past couple of days. What's going on, man? He goes, well, you're probably going to fire me. He said, but I got really drunk a few weeks ago, and I went to a 7-Eleven. I peed in the salad bar. They arrested me. I'm in a treatment center now. I haven't been drinking. And I laughed so hard I couldn't get off the floor. So I didn't fire him. I couldn't stop laughing. And I said, do me a favor. Get out of your treatment program as soon as possible and get drinking again. Please. I need the drunk back so you sound good in the morning and we get ratings. And he did. So every night I knew it up until 2 a.m. He was at the Irish pub getting drunk. He'd roll into the station, sleep for 3 hours, do show prep, come on the air. It was great. So there's an example of a drunk that sounded great. When he wasn't drinking, he was terrible.
Wow. That's weird how that works. Like I don't drink at all, so I have no point of reference for that at all.
My bad man. Should I have mentioned him? I'm a bad man. Listen, I understand that you have a drinking issue.
Right.
Stay in the program.
That's beyond morally ambiguous.
I can care less. I needed dude, I needed ratings, man.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I don't care. Just listen. Next time, make sure when you pee in the salad at 7-Eleven, you make headlines. I want people to listen. Morning host of W blank 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 is found peeing in salad at 7-Eleven. I get people to tune in.
Then you suspend them for about an hour to keep people.
I wouldn't suspend them at all.
No.
No.
Just. Oh
man. No way. We had one time at one station. We set it up that the jocks took over the radio station. So
okay.
They were playing that song na 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 over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
So I call and go, what's going on? They said, well, this is all set up. The listener doesn't know it. What are you guys doing? Well, you promised us, you're going to have our pictures on the billboard. The billboard's up and our pictures on there. I'm like, well, so we don't need your pictures. Don't worry about it. Well, you're live on the air and we're all thinking about quitting together. And I'm like, you know what? You're all going to be fired unless you start doing your job right now. We're not doing our job. I said, you're all fired. So I come down to the station, I take over. And all of a sudden I get a phone call, and the guy named Joe Mama is now climbing a billboard. We have the police come. It's all set up. This is the police from, I'm not going to say the city. It looks like one of your people with the van here is climbing a billboard. And now everyone's on it. The media and everyone's on it, right? And then it's Joe Mama. He goes, I'm not coming down. I'm not coming down unless we raise $4,000 for the Salvation Army.
There it is.
How cool was that? See on the setup?
Got the hook, yeah.
Got the hook. What sport do you think is the most significant to Americans? Like if you were captured and you were a POW, you can relate to this because your dad's in the military. And the Chinese go, okay, we want to know if you spy or not. Are you really an American? I went from Chinese to German. To German, but are you really an American? Tell me who's the biggest soccer player today?
I mean,
but Americans don't watch soccer, do they?
We watch the World Cup.
Okay, but that's it.
We love America, and that's about it.
So America is what? Tell me a sport. America is
football.
Football.
We have it on every level. High school football is huge. College football is huge. Professional football is huge. And you don't have that in every other sport. Maybe we love basketball too, but high school basketball does not sell tickets the way that high school football does.
I had a lot more questions for you, Dion Rose. We are out of time, believe it or not. Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to hear a lot more from this young man at AM 1240, Hot News Radio on Twitter, hotnewsradio.com, at YouTube. You can watch us streaming live at Hot News Talk Radio. This is AM 1240.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
WSDT Sunny Daisy, Chattanooga.